no heckling or yelling towards the stage. Do not talk to your neighbors.
That's chilling, right?
Got 2 albums out. This journey has been great because I feel like I'm getting closer to my truth. Still jokey jokes and still fun, but I think I'm getting closer to the pure essence of me. 8 years sober tomorrow, yeah. So I think this is the universe telling me like, hey, you've done the work. You put in the time as a comic, you put in the time working on your sobriety. You should celebrate.
Philadelphia, give a nice warm welcome to Mat Alano-Martin, everyone. Here he is, come on.
Thank y'all for coming out on a Friday night, Philly. I appreciate you. I wore my fanciest sneakers for you, huh? Check them out, yeah. Yeah, underneath these flashy kicks, compression socks with a built-in arch support, okay? Let's be honest with each other. These are my in denial shoes. It is very good to be here. Before I get into the jokes, though, I do want to share something weird that happened with me recently. A couple of weeks ago, I got profiled at Home Depot. Yeah, this old man just rolled up on me and goes, "So, what kind of shed are you building?" Don't like that. Two important pieces of information you need to know. One, I had just walked in the store, okay? I had no cart, no shed building materials. And two, he nailed it. I am building a shed. I was like, God damn it, Home Depot Nostradamus, how did you know? I see that beard. You're about ready to write your manifesto. Yeah, so I recently found out I have resting shed face. How are you all? Are you better? Hopefully. I'm very happy that comedy is coming back. We went away for a long time during the pandemic. All the shows were canceled for safety purposes, right? So it's exciting to be back. I had done comedy for 10 years on the road, and then all that went away, and I was just kind of rattling around my house, getting in my wife's way, you know? Luckily, yeah, we got a married couple up front. They understand immediately, like, yeah, that was the hardest part. This dumbass always around. Yeah. So it was weird, though, because my wife, luckily, could still work remotely. I was out of a job for a year, but she could still work remotely. She brought all of her computer shit home, set it up in the house, right? And she's got the kind of job where she's on Zoom calls all day long with coworkers and clients. And it was 6 weeks into her working from home like that before I realized if you're on a Zoom call with my wife, you'll see her in the foreground, and then right over her shoulder in the background, you see the door to our bathroom. 6 weeks before I noticed this. Now, I'm very relieved to say that none of my wife's coworkers have seen my dick, okay? Unless they subscribe to my OnlyFans, you know? In which case they've earned it, you know? Guys, hit me up. I'm at Shedface on OnlyFans. No, I'm just... But what they have seen, what my wife's coworkers have seen for almost an entire year and a half now of her being on Zoom calls, they have seen me use the bathroom like 5 times in a single hour, right? Because I stay up late, do a lot of stress eating, get up early, drink a lot of coffee, right? 1 + 1 = number 2, we're all on board, right? I go to the bathroom a lot in the mornings. And I'm surprised we made it through a full year and a half of this happening without my wife getting an email from her HR department that just says, hey, whatever your husband has, our plan doesn't cover it, just so you know. Gonna have to go out of network for that one. I went and got a job at an after-school program for kids. I wanted to do something good for my community. I worked there for over a year during the pandemic, and I'm not trying to brag when I would say that I would take a bullet for some of those kids. Some is the key word, yes. If you're not laughing, you've never worked with a lot of children before, okay? If we're gonna be honest, not every child is bullet material. They're not. My favorite kid there was this 8-year-old kid. He was super funny, made me laugh every single day. But he's also a sticky kid. Just always sticky for no goddamn reason. Like, it's the type of sticky you can see from across the room, you know? As soon as he walked in, we were like, oh, fuck, he's sticky again. His group, the 8-year-olds, they had a service project, which was to write letters to people living in retirement communities during the pandemic, right? Because they're more isolated than most. It seemed like a really good idea. It was not a good idea. Most of the letters that these kids wrote to the retirement community were like, sorry you're old. We're like, okay. Say hello to heaven. Okay, we can't send any of these letters. I did have a very weird thing happen while I was working there. One day I accidentally called one of my black coworkers by a different black coworker's name, so I quit. I I know how this looks. I'm leaving, guys. Don't worry about it. Get off Twitter. I'm leaving. It's cool. I did not do that. What I did do is every day after that, though, I did on purpose get one of my white coworkers' names wrong. Just to kind of cover my tracks a bit, Yeah. What's up, Bob? Shit. Sorry, Sheila. I'm bad at names, guys. So bad at names. It does hurt when you make an honest mistake like that. These two dudes, their names are very similar. They're about the same build, right? Just saw them out of the corner of my eye. Simple mistake. But that happens. You're like, fuck, am I my grandpa? Like you feel it, right? I try to be a good ally, right? I donate to the right causes. I marched last summer. I'm in my second interracial marriage. I've done the work, y'all, okay? Has anybody here been married more than twice, like 3 or 4 times? Oh, no. Is this your second marriage here? Your first marriage. Well, she's already planning ahead, apparently. So she was like, boom, yes. Can't wait. Cannot wait. You're planning to get a better second. That's exactly what I just said.
No.
This is your second marriage?
This will be my second.
Oh, you're getting ready to get married. Okay. Is this your first?
Finance company first.
You got a what? Okay, yeah, you're right. Oh, you're the 3-beer guy that he was talking about. Yeah, I should not. Who wants to hear 3-beer guy explain finance to us? Huh? What is the Fed? It's all right. You guys are having a great time. Thank you for being here. You're beautiful. I appreciate you. All right. No, not you guys. Everybody else. All right. Anybody here been married more than twice, like 3 or 4 times? There's usually not a lot of volunteers for this question. I'm not surprised, right? I did ask that question one time, though, in Indianapolis at a comedy club, and this woman up front acted like she had just been called down to be on The Price is Right. I said, anybody been married more than twice, like 3 or 4 times? And this woman goes, woo! And this finger was pointing at the woman sitting next to her, who did not have the same reaction. So mad. Murder face, And it was this big moment. It was right up front, right? So I had to address it, And so I go to the very angry lady. I'm like, ma'am, you've been married a few times? She's like, yes. I'm like, how many times? 5. And then just joking around, I said, well, are any of them still alive? And she said, no. I did comedy for the Black Widow, you guys. That's pretty dope. Oh, man. Are you going to be okay? Is this like, okay. You're drifting into the point that I'm concerned for your well-being.
You're drinking the water. I'm concerned for your well-being.
That's a good clap back. Thank you very much. I don't want to get too hydrated. You're right. No. It's okay. I love that you guys are here. We're just taping this special thing, and then you you've been partying. It's good. All right. Are we cool? All right. I know you don't realize how loud you're being. That's the thing. It's okay? Keep this in the special. I want this in the special. All right. I know. You're faded, girl. It's cool. Like, I like it. I like it. That's okay. What's great is we have multiple camera angles. We can show you the footage tomorrow of how faded you are. Because right now you're like, no, I'm not. And then tomorrow you're like, oh, fuck, I was faded. I should not go out in public. It's fine. We'll move on, guys. We got other shows. What should I talk about? I'll tell you about where I live. They introduced me as being from Bloomington, Indiana. Being from Bloomington, Indiana is very cool. Yeah, thank you. Got one other person? Yeah. Indiana girl, hell yeah. Indiana girl, where are you from in Indiana? Fort Wayne, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you for coming. You didn't come just for the show, did you? Yeah. You did come just for the show? Yeah. From Fort Wayne? Would you like to have a seat up front? I can switch some people around. Ray, I'm serious. Can we get these people to switch tables with the Fort Wayne girl? You guys can hang out and be at the show, but just not right up front. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. Oh, I'll switch up. I'm not even talking about Bloomington. I'll talk about this. I'm 8 years sober tomorrow. That's no shit, guys. Yeah. Thank you very much. I used to be the guy. 3 beers is clapping, and then she still doesn't know what's happening. It's fine. No. I am. Tomorrow is my 8-year sobriety anniversary, man. And I should be completely honest, I'm not completely sober, right? Because every allergy season, start hitting those Benadryls. Yeah, girl, yeah. You riding the pink dragon, my brother? Yeah. Every allergy season, it's like one for my allergies and one for me. Let's get sleepy. I had an interesting thing happen to me. When I got sober, I gained 45 pounds. Yeah, because I replaced alcohol with milkshakes. Yeah. Because physically, your body craves the sugar that's in alcohol, and psychologically, going out to get a milkshake is kind of like going to the bar, you know? So every single day at 4 o'clock, I would go to Denny's. And I'd have myself a milkshake, sometimes 2 if it was a bad day. I was just getting sober. It was nothing but bad days. Every single day for 3.5 weeks, 2 milkshakes, cheeseburger, cheese fries with bacon bits, basket of chicken tenders, extra ranch. 3.5 weeks. Until finally, Emilio, the 16-year-old kid that worked at my Denny's that was usually my server, he just plopped down in the booth with me one day, looked around and said, I could probably get fired for saying this, but I don't think this is good. I didn't know how to tell this child that this was my healthy choice. How dark do I want to make this kid's world, you know? I never had a drinking intervention, but I had a milkshake intervention, and it still hurt, guys. It was a little rough. I like it, though. I like being sober. It's good for me. I get to travel a lot more easily, right? My wife doesn't have to worry about, if I'm getting too fucked up to drive or anything. I get to travel and be safe, which is nice. And I love travel. It's one of my favorite parts about comedy is travel. I was just in Colorado doing shows, and it's an amazing place, Colorado. Great people watching in Colorado. Yeah, because they've had legal weed for so long that they have weed tourism, right? Where people come from other states to overdo it. And that's good people watching. I saw it firsthand. I was eating at this Mexican restaurant in downtown Denver, and I got sat next to this very nice couple from Utah who were having their first outing on edibles. And they'd overshot a bit. The server brought them their tacos. The lady just goes, "Oh no! How do we even do this?" If you are too high for tacos, you are too high, okay? That is a stoner gift of the Magi situation. They were so high they had to watch me eat tacos to figure out how to eat tacos. So I had to mess with them, of course. I just bit in the middle like a sandwich. Yeah, tacos, one bite, then it's on your lap. Tacos. I've made friends with a lot of hippies out there in Colorado. I'm not a big hippie person, but it's deep in their culture. And I've been going to Colorado enough that I've made some hippie friends out there. They're getting me on board with some of their belief systems. I now believe in crystals, the power of crystals, right? Yeah, thank you, yeah. The magic rocks that you charge up in the sun, right? Yeah. I think that crystals can help you with severe depression. And the way that they help is that you buy as many crystals as you can. You fill the pockets of your heaviest winter coat. And then just walk into the river. Depression solved, guys. Who's afraid of a Virginia Woolf reference? Oh, not you guys. I know that it's a different time, so I do want to add at the end of that, if anyone here tonight is thinking about doing that, please don't do it. Don't get into crystals. Okay, thank you. I'm glad that you're all here. We all made it through the pandemic together. I'm vaccinated, but I realized when I got vaccinated, that is the only healthy thing about me. Blood pressure bad. Cholesterol worse. But I got that shot. Yeah. I wore the mask a lot too, right? And that was an interesting time. The mask era, right? Like last year, particularly when everyone was masked up all the time for safety reasons. I met several people during that period of time for the first time when they were masked up and I was masked up. And now I started to see them without the masks. And that's how I learned that I'm an optimist. Right? They're not nearly as attractive as I assumed they were. This seems to be the part of the face where it goes wrong for most of us, okay? If the eyes are the windows to the soul, this is the busted up cheap plastic Venetian blinds of the soul. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm in the same boat, right? I have pretty eyes and then it gets bad quick. I have hillbilly teeth. Underneath this beard, I have a weak chin, which is immediately followed by a pretty strong second chin. It's like my second chin looked at my first chin and was like, don't even worry, bro, I got you. We giggle together, we jiggle together. Bad boys for life. All right. I used to always go down to Texas as part of my Colorado run. I'd hit Colorado, dip down into Texas, and I did not go this time because they've gotten a little, like Texas has always been teetering on the edge of insanity, right? And they're all the way in now, right? This abortion ban that they passed, like I don't know if you guys follow this, like they have bounty hunters for uteruses. It's fucking crazy, right? I am pro-choice, and I'm very happy to say that in Bloomington, where I live, we have a Planned Parenthood, and they offer important services for women, right? And like most Planned Parenthoods, we have protesters who show up every single day to protest, and that's their right as Americans. But in Bloomington, it's a law that you cannot block the sidewalk for any reason without a permit. So the only place that the protesters can stand is in the strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street. This spring, our Planned Parenthood put a little white string around the grass area and a sign that said, "This area has just been reseeded and treated. Please do not step on the grass." And it worked. Yes. For 6 weeks, the protesters had to stand almost a half block down, which of course it was going to work because those protesters think that every seed is sacred. Thank you. Thank you. I should just point right at the camera to that one. It's a little thing I like to call stand-up comedy. Thank you for being here. Of course, the big divide in America ever since Roe versus Wade has been the fact that ruling made abortion legal federally, but then more conservative states have thrown up these roadblocks to make it almost impossible to get the procedure done within their state lines. So federally legal, state by state, it really depends. I think a good workaround for this problem is if we start offering in-flight abortions. Right? Because the airspace is federal. That's federally regulated. You could be in an airplane just doing donuts over the Texas state capitol. Having your procedure done like, ah! Couldn't do anything about it. I can tell not everybody here is on board with this plan. I'm just saying I think for $80, Spirit Airlines will do it. That's all I'm saying. I know. Do you work at Spirit? Okay, all right, cool, you're right. That was, all right, thank you, sir. I've never had such an emotional response to Spirit Airlines. Did they do something terrible to you? No. Oh, okay, cool. You guys are super loose and fun. It's a little chaotic, but I'm glad that you're here. Thank you, everybody, front row. I like there was a breathalyzer like 6.8, put him in the front row. All right.
I like you, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
I'm a Matt, too.
Are you a Matt?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Put it right there. Got Matt. I got my pink dragon rider. Hell yeah. You got Miss Faded. All right. Sir, it's not too late. You're not married yet. Get out of it. You're like, cool. It's a comedy show, honey. We're joking around. It's a comedy show. It's a comedy show. It's fine.
Not get married. Not get married. You fucked that all, man.
Here's the thing, Billy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing is, this is not the special I thought I was taping, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's all right. Oh, man. I do miss Texas, man. I used to go down to Texas. It is an interesting place. I had one of the weirdest experiences of my life in Texas. I was performing in Amarillo, and there was a classic car show, so all the hotel rooms. Yeah, Amarillo here? Yeah. Hell yeah. Amarillo's a cool place, but they have a lot of classic car shows there, and that's what was going on. So all the hotel rooms were completely booked up. So I had to stay in an Airbnb, and that is how I heard the loudest sex that I or any human being has ever heard. It was so loud that at first I 100% thought they were doing it as a joke. Right? Like they saw my car pull in the driveway and they just looked at each other and said, you know, it'd be hilarious. As if when this complete stranger walked in, if we were murder fucking. Wouldn't that be funny, huh? Just a good old-fashioned scream bang, huh? I put the little code in, open the door. It is so loud, I just start giggling. Like I'm immediately transformed into a 7th grader. I'm like, sexy. And so I giggle my way all the way to the room that I rented, which, of course, right next to the Thunderdome, right? And they're going at it, and I'm giggling, they're going at it, I'm giggling, they're going at it. And then I stop giggling, and I start to feel bad about myself. I'm like, have I not ever actually had sex before? Is this what it's supposed to sound like? Like, don't get me wrong, I've made a few women get loud before, but I've never made a woman go, yeah, 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 yeah. 5 stars, I'll stay there every time, guys. 5 stars. I recently joined a gym so I could do that joke without dying, guys. You ever see me at a Planet Fitness on the bike going, yeah, 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 that's what happened. I yeah-yeah'd her right out of the room. It's a powerful joke. It's a powerful joke. No, seriously, dude, this is your chance. Go now. Go now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. This has been a super fun, rowdy show. I do want to tell you a story that's a little bit more serious to close on. Can we do that?
Yeah.
No.
It's going to be funny at the end. It's going to be funny at the end, okay? Yep. Hang in, all right? Cool. All right, everybody. So I've been going to therapy, right? And it's been great for me. And the main thing that we've been working on with my therapist is my relationship with my father. I did not have much of one. My dad was a biker, drinker, fighter, hellraiser kind of dude, right? Like I had a lot of uncles who wore colors that had to go away for a few years at a time, right? And my mom knew that's not a good place to raise my brother and I, so she took us one night in the middle of the night when I was about 9 years old. And I didn't see my father for 20 years, not till I tracked him down as an adult. But when I'd finally found my father, he had become this ultra-conservative right-wing religious nutbag, which was a bummer. I thought I was tracking down cool dad, you know? Like we're gonna patch shit up, get matching Harleys, go to Sturgis together, you know? He's gonna finally teach me how to throw a perfect spiral beer bottle at a cop's head. Cool dad shit. But he was not that guy. And when I tell you that he was conservative, he once told me he did not watch Fox News because he found it to be too liberal. Yes. So he got his news from weird websites and newsletters that were mailed to his house that he would show me. We did not get along very well. I am very liberal. It's not my fault. I went to college and they got me. I am not. All right, thank you for coming in from Central Pennsylvania. Thank you, sir. I'm a hard left, man. I am. I'm a hard left. I'm on my 2nd interracial marriage. I have several friends that are gay and trans. My father and I, we did not get along. I met this stranger who was my father. We fought, didn't like each other, didn't see each other for a couple months. I traveled again to see him again, fought, didn't like each other. 3rd time, same thing. I thought, this is a mistake. I'm not gonna do this anymore. And then he got sick. He got Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Yeah, and I don't know if it's like genetically hardwired or whatever, but the guilt kicked in, and I was like, fuck, I gotta keep seeing him now, right? And the first thing ALS does is it takes your voice. You can't talk. So the way we would visit is I would show up, try to keep the mood light. He would write on this pad of paper, and that's how we communicated, right? And in a lot of ways, it actually improved our relationship. We kind of got past some shit, got back to brass tacks, you know? So my dad's getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and I start a new job, and I can't get time off to travel to where he lives to see him for about 6 months. I finally get the time off from this new job, and I travel to see him, and now he's down to 78 pounds. Just skin and bones. Can't even close his jaw, just hangs open. It's very hard to be there, even with our difficult history, right? I'm trying to keep the mood light, and he's trying to write on his pad of paper, but he's so weak now he can barely write. I was like, Dad, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I brought a treat. You remember how much we loved Ernest Goes to Camp when I was a kid? I got it on Blu-ray. Let's just hang out, watch this movie together. But he really wants to write something to me. He's very determined. And so it takes me about 5 minutes just to write a couple of words. And while that's happening, it occurs to me, I'm like, maybe he's gonna finally tell me that he loves me? He's gonna finally tell me that he's proud of me, right? He gets done, he drops a pen. He's so weak he can't even tear off the piece of paper. He just taps the pad. So I reach over and I tear off the piece of paper and I read what my dad wrote to me. And what he wrote was, "Fags caused 9/11. Just a little bit of wisdom he wanted his baby boy to take into the world, right? Not long after that, my father died. Those are my father's final words to me. Now, when this had happened, I had not started doing stand-up comedy yet, but I knew that shit was funny. So I used to carry that piece of paper with me everywhere I went in my wallet, right? But then it occurred to me, what if I get in a car wreck? Right? The EMTs are on the scene. I think he's still alive. See if he has any ID. What the fuck? Put the shit back. He's dead. Put it back. He's already dead. So now that piece of paper is at home in my desk drawer with a second piece of paper explaining it, stapled to it 3 times, just to be sure. And I know that's kind of an intense story to tell you guys and everything, but I want to let you know, my best friend Jonas is gay, and I asked him, and he said they did not do it. Just so you guys know. My dad was incorrect. I've been Mat Alano-Martin. You guys have been a comedy audience. Thank you for being here.
It's great. You know, my wife and I got out, we walked around today, we went and saw the Liberty Bell. Tomorrow, I already told my wife, it's like we're gonna find the best milkshake place in Philadelphia, and that's my sobriety celebration. We're gonna go get some milkshakes. We've had a great time so far, and I'm excited. So I've been doing comedy for 13 years. I've been doing it full-time as my main gig, only job for 10 years, with the exception of last year when obviously during the pandemic shut everything down. But yeah, 13 years doing comedy and 10 on the road, and I'm ready. I'm ready for this special, baby. Do I remember most? I think I can remember most of the shows, for sure. And some of them are memorable for the wrong reasons, for sure. Oh man, the bombs. You know, particularly when I was starting off, and I started comedy very late. I was 35. Before I ever did stand-up, I was a musician, and then I worked as a tour manager for bands, more successful bands, and that's what I did. So I've been on the road for most of my adult life. I started very late, and I was a 35-year-old open micer, and you guys can't see it, but I'm heavily tattooed. I'm kind of a bigger person. I did 2 different open mics in the first 6 months that I started, where I bombed so bad that I went home, took off my shoes, crawled into bed fully clothed, and cried myself to sleep as a 230-pound tattooed 35-year-old man. That's how much it hurt, you know? But that's because how much I wanted it. And then I quit for a couple of weeks, and then that itch came back. It's like, well, maybe I'll try it again. And so those are the ones that are seared into my brain about how bad they were. I've been fortunate enough to do big theater shows and stuff like that, and those are amazing in their own right. But it is a different animal. You know, you are physically farther away from the audience, and it's just, it's more of a presentation. Whereas in a comedy club, it's a conversation. That energy is going back and forth, you know.